We might be moving slowly, but we will not give up. The wives of those mobilized from the Kursk and Voronezh regions of Russia demand that their husbands be taken out of the combat zone. The man was sent to the Luhansk region without any preparation. Earlier, the governor of the Voronezh region promised to return those mobilized to the military unit.
They were promised to be brought back to Vologda, but in the end, as always, we were deceived. We have been living in the parking lot for the third day. I am pregnant, expecting the third child, and I cannot pick up my husband in any way. We are now going to go to Starobilsk with our friendly company. We will move at night. If something happens to us, thank you very much to our military commanders.
The residents of Vologda demand the return of their husbands from the war too. According to them, the mobilized were trapped under fire from both the Ukrainian army and the Russian occupation troops.
The training took place at the lowest level. On the 16th of October, the mobilized were sent to the Luhansk region. There, they survived in the trenches without provision and further training, without commanders. Commanders and generals were in warm houses.
Wives of Russian mobilized say that officers call those who try to escape from the front line deserters, draw crosses on their foreheads and threaten to shoot them. Many in Russia are trying to prevent their loved ones from being sent to the front line. They are trying to get the military registration and enlistment officers to transfer them to alternative civilian service.
If you can't just leave the country or somehow hide inside Russia itself, then we usually recommend applying for this very alternative service. This is actually one of those good methods, but you need to do it not independently, but through a trusted person, ideally through a lawyer, and sue the state to the bitter end. And the task, as I see it, as a human rights activist, is not to go to this alternative service, but simply to delay the process of drafting a person.
Not everyone manages to escape the draft call. In St. Petersburg, a man with astigmatism was mobilized, who has parents with disabilities in his care. At the military registration and enlistment office, the man was told that for those who are trying to evade service, show trials will be arranged.
I would not call it a mobilization. I would say that this is a real tragedy, because what Putin's regime is doing now, firstly by unleashing this bloody, terrible war, and secondly by organizing this mobilization, is not only the destruction of the Ukrainian people, but is also a time bomb for the Russian people. Now, it's not a secret in Russia that there is a problem with public utilities. There are simply no men to work on them. They were taken away.
While some Russians are looking for a way to save their loved ones from mobilization, others are willingly getting their share of the coffin money. In Khakassia, the parents of Bogdan Fotin, a 26-year-old contract soldier who was killed in Ukraine in the summer of 2022, are suing. Half of the coffin money was received by Fotin's father, but Bogdan's mother claims that her ex-husband left the family more than 20 years ago and did not actually take part in raising his son.
And maybe I wouldn't even go to court. Let him put this money down his throat and choke. He began to claim his son's car, which he bought with money from his assignment to Syria. Now he wants to enter into the inheritance and take it. This was the last straw of my patience. He does not need a car, he will sell it. For me, this is the only memory of my son. The son, when he left, said to my husband, "Dad, I ask that no matter what happens to me, save the car." This is already a normal practice in Russia when dad appears and takes the money. Natalia Olenikova, mother of a Russian contractor, in a comment to Siberia Realities.
At the same time, the Russian Ministry of Defense is wasting no time. They distribute memos to the mobilized, which teach them to trust only official Russian propagandist information sources, not to read bloggers and various opposition Telegram channels. Together with a pamphlet, the mobilized are given lectures that they will fight against hordes of mercenaries and NATO soldiers, and not against ordinary Ukrainians. Reported by Pavlo Shtelmach, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.